Alright, so first hand we're looking at here is pocket queens, and you might be thinking, why would anyone be bluffing with pocket queens? And it's true, this is not a bluff hand, but it does illustrate a pretty important concept, which I wanted to go over, which is definitely relevant to this video series. Let's just play through the hand. Space 1000 here opens to 350, and my read on Space 1000 is that he's just a complete maniac. We hadn't really been tangling too much in that we hadn't been to showdown too many times, but he was very, very crazy, to the point where I wasn't really able to get a handle on if he was being crazy because he was trying to create some kind of an image, or if he was just genuinely insane. But very active, raising, three betting a lot, that sort of thing. Not really folding too much, lots of action, etc., etc. So it's folded to me, very standard. Three bet for value. You can make it even bigger, but I like to standardize my sizing, and I would make it 12 here with all of my hands. So I went ahead and made it 12 with pocket queens. And predictably, Space 1000 here called. And the flop comes down Jack, Jack 9. And what I want you to do here for a moment is just kind of forget that we have pocket queens. Pretend that you had, it wouldn't be a very good idea to 3-bet this guy light, but pretend that you had, a hand which had some kind of equity on this board. And, like a flush draw, a straight draw, maybe an overcard, two overcards, ace king, an underpair, maybe some kind of equity on this board. And think what you would actually do with that hand. And, if you want to pause the video and just think it through for yourself, what would be your line with a hand which was unmade, not pocket queens, but unmade, a hand that you can't be too happy about, a hand that you would be bluffing with. What would be your line versus Space 1000 here? And what I ended up doing with pocket queens, because I was playing for value, was I bet 14 because I wanted him to think that I was trying to steal it with some kind of a draw. Just made a pretty weak continuation bet into the pot to represent that I have ace king or ace queen or whatever. And he went ahead and min raised to 28. And in this spot, I would suggest that most people or a lot of people who would have a hand like, a 10-8 here, or two overcards, or a flush draw, they would recommend, either calling the 14 extra and trying to spike it, or just folding, because how can Space 1000 be bluffing here? He obviously has an ace high spade draw is the bottom of his range. He probably has a jack most likely, just because it's so strong for him to be min raising after we show so much strength, etc., etc. It's big pot, whatever. This board is paired, so there's not that many combinations of draws he can have, even though the jack 9 of spades is there.